today I have a special guest, Erica, and I'm going to do this magical music to formally introduce you. So thank you so much for being on this show today.
You're welcome.
I guess, it's kind of the simple question, if you can tell us about your business and what you do, kind of how you got to starting your own business.
Sure. So my name is Erica Graham. I am the founder and owner of Erica Graham Consulting. I am based in Arizona for the moment, but my husband and I just recently purchased a house in Arkansas. So we will be heading east. Don't know when exactly yet. There's still some things that need to be hashed out, but I started my business around a year and a half ago, right? No, actually, let's go back a little bit further. I actually started my business in 2019. I had been working with one of the big box home improvement stores for 12 years, my last position being a kitchen and bath remodel consultant.
And you've had a lot of years doing that?
Yeah. Actually, I had been doing it by that point for about 5 years. Prior to that, I had other positions: department manager, installed sales, department manager, plumbing, tools, the front end, that kind of a thing. So in taking that kitchen and bath remodel consultant position, it was a step down from being a manager, but it was a sales position that, allowed me the opportunity to go into people's homes and help them transform their spaces and that kind of a thing. It was totally foreign to me. I knew a little bit about everything, flooring, cabinets, countertops, lighting, that kind of thing from being an installed sales manager. But now helping people actually put all the pieces together into one project was like mind-blowing to me, but it was there that I kind of found my passion for cabinetry. Like, that is my passion: cabinets, countertops, tile. Oh, I love tile. But anything and everything that has to do with like a kitchen and bath space, you know what I mean? Yeah. So around the 2018 timeframe was when there was a big switch in CEOs. And, when that happens, there's going to be reorganization that happens. And right about the end of 2018 is when they decided that the kitchen and bath remodel program was not profitable. So that meant that we were all essentially going to be losing our positions. So now the mad scramble: do we stay and take a position in the store, or do we leave and go do something else? Yeah. And like I told you, by that point, I had already been with the company for 12 years. And, I was a little older, and I was not looking forward to being back out on the sales floor as just just a regular associate after having been a manager for so long. Take a reduction in pay
instead of a step forward.
Exactly. Taking a reduction in pay and all that. So it was at that point that I decided, I know how to do this. Why don't I just do it myself, start my own business? Well, I mean, there were a lot of things that I had to consider at that point, like what contractor was I going to partner up with? How, what all did that involve? Did I have to go out and get business licenses? Did I need to, that kind of a thing? And the laws here in Arizona are totally different than anywhere else. So if I even talked to a customer about construction or what they could and couldn't do behind walls and things like that, I had to have a GC license. Well, I wasn't going to take that kind of responsibility. So I went to work for I left there and I went to work for a local design build showroom here in Scottsdale. And, for a year, and this is a privately owned kind of it's not a corporate structure, but I learned a lot working there about how to run a business. So after I left there, I went 100% into my business. And so now the services that I offer are specifically cabinetry design to remodelers, showrooms that don't have designers that are familiar with 2020, and interior designers.
Wow, that's quite a story you have. And you took the plunge. You were very courageous to get out there and start your own business. And I've been on your website. You have a plethora of different services you offer. Are you also still an assistant to other designers then too?
Um, well, like I told you before, I am in the process of revamping my website. I
Okay.
had started offering those services, but I realized that that's not what I want to do anymore.
Oh, okay.
So I don't, that now has been scrapped. So I'm working with a web designer right now that is going to help me revamp my website. So I'm working on the copy. I'm working on, all of the things that are going to go in the different pages. By the way, that website I built myself
That's
during,
quite a good job. You did an excellent job, by the way.
thank you, during lockdown.
I actually
Um,
consider, not consider, I already thought that you had like hired somebody.
I
I'm
did
like,
it
wow,
all
this
myself.
website looks great.
It took me 3 months of anxiety and aggravation and anger and because it's not easy building your own
No, it's
website.
not.
I mean, granted, it's a template. You start with a template, you put all your things in there, but you have to figure out the colors and you have to figure out the content and all of that. So yeah, I did it all myself, in this effort to start my business. But yeah, I mean, it was a plunge. It was courageous, but then at the other end of that plunge, it's like, holy crap, what did you do?
Yeah, you're
Your
in it.
eyes are like,
You're in the pool.
yeah,
And I
there's
mean,
no
there's no
going
getting
back.
out. It's bittersweet,
Mhm.
it's a lot of responsibility. And there's probably some things that you run into that you didn't think would actually happen, or you
Right.
didn't think would actually you'd come across.
Hmm.
But it's bittersweet because you're challenged and you're growing, and as like a person, not just as a business owner, but as
Right.
a person. Um,
Oh
I
yeah.
I can totally understand how that can be, and it's I would sum it up in one word: bittersweet.
It is, and it's a little bit scary, those people that make it look so easy and they tell you, oh, so easy to just start your own business. It's not. It's hard work. There's a lot of mindset stuff going on. There's a lot of doubt, self-doubt, like, am I even doing the right thing? Did I make the right decision? I mean, in the beginning there was a lot of that for me. Like, I struggled with my mindset, and of course it doesn't help that we were in the middle of a shutdown, a complete
Mhm.
shutdown, because of COVID. But, in the beginning, I struggled a lot with my mindset. Am I doing the right thing? Did I do the right thing? But, at the end, it was my husband and I are empty nesters, you know. Um, he still has a W-2 job. So in that, I'm pretty um fortunate. He retired from the Marine Corps, so we have that, benefit. Um, so I was able to jump into this business full on, without having to worry about, okay, what am I contributing to the finances of the family?
Yeah.
So
Well, it
yeah,
sounds like, we talked a little bit before this recording. It sounds like you're doing pretty good. Great, good. I say
yeah,
sometimes I say words at the same time.
it's okay. It's
Great, good.
totally, yeah, there you go.
Like you've been doing very good and very
Yeah.
great, right?
Hmm.
Can you
Yeah,
can you highlight that a little bit?
sure. So, again, at the beginning of the pandemic, when we were all shut down, there were no social distancing because we couldn't go anywhere. We weren't allowed to go anywhere. I found clients through networking. I started subcontracting with a few people and doing things like social media, and writing newsletters, and which I learned how to do all that, how to do my own social media, how to write newsletters, how to write blogs, um, and it was through one of those networking with some of the, like, the cabinet reps that I had known from Lowe's, from the showroom that I worked in for a whole year, that I got my first client
So it's really
for
developing those relationships that
developing
really
those
help you.
relationships. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I had my first real cabinet design client, and then again, networking on Facebook through some of these groups, these interior design groups that I met.
Actually through one
Yeah.
of those groups.
Yeah, we did. I think it was the 2020 Pugs group. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's the one. Yep.
Yeah.
That was a fun group.
It is. I met a design assistant agency owner in one of the interior designer groups, and I just reached out to her, hey, do you ever have any need for a kitchen designer? And she came back to me and said, not at this time, we're not really offering that kind of thing, but if something does come up, I'll reach out to you. Lo and behold, a couple of months later, she reached out. She said, hey, I have this interior designer that, needs somebody to help with their kitchen designs, and they're using this totally different platform, but maybe you could help them. And then I came on as a subcontractor with her. And I have, one of her interior design clients specifically reaches out to me because I learned how to use a super uber like custom cabinetry design platform that their cabinet makers use to build the cabinets off of this platform. So I learned how to use that program, and now their cabinet makers are like, talk to Erica. You have a question, you talk to Erica. So it's like,
wonderful.
Yeah, I've become the go-to person for that particular, designer. I'm still subcontracting with that design agency owner, doing CAD work on Home Designer Pro. And then it was through her, that design agency, that I met the other design agency owner that I do CAD work for also.
So it's just like one person you meet to the next one.
Yeah.
Kind of like a circle.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah, it's kind of like, what is that movie, Six Degrees of Separation or something like that people talk about all the time? Yeah. But that's where building relationships and networking comes in.
Yeah, it's so important. It really is. All right, so I only went through one question so far. I want to do the
Sure.
That actually wasn't. So I have this brand new podcast setup thing, and every once in a while you'll hear a little sound effect. So okay, let's see. You might have already covered this, but what is the most challenging part of becoming your own boss? What is the most fulfilling?
So the most challenging part for me is doing all the things, because in the beginning you're your own person, like you're the chief cook and bottle washer, right? So you're like doing the work, you're not only for your clients but also for your business, your bookkeeping, your blog writing and posting and the newsletters and all of that stuff. So that for me has been the hardest part, is knowing when to schedule the stuff that I have to do for my business. I'm really good at scheduling networking meetings. I have no problem with that. But when it comes to like, I got to do the monthly bookkeeping, or I got to do the blog writing. Stuff. Yeah. That's the hardest part for me.
I can see how that can be. There's a lot of behind the scenes work to do.
Yeah, like there's a lot of things, like you got to do all the things, because I'm not quite at a point yet where I can outsource.
You are?
I'm not.
Ask. Oh, you're not. Okay.
Not yet.
There are people out there that I've come across through social media that they're like on my wish list. Like, I know I'm going to work with you, just not yet.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I get recommended that with my business, Mono Virtual Designs, that maybe I should outsource some of the work. And that's one way that you can help your business succeed, is by, hiring some outsourced work. Maybe after this video, I can give you my contacts. I have a couple that maybe you haven't heard of before.
Sure.
But yeah, you got to think of, as a business owner, you have to think about the what is it? I keep thinking QuickBooks, but it's like the
The bookkeeping.
The bookkeeping.
Yeah.
The finances.
Yeah, the finances.
That's gonna make or break your business, and it's a lot of work in the beginning.
It is. It is. Well, you have to get to a specific point. You can't just start outsourcing willy-nilly. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And a lot of it is also like, do you have an abundance mindset or not, right? Which I've also been working on, but there also has to be some kind of smart decisions that you have to make. Like I'm not at a point yet where I can outsource bookkeeping. I've outsourced my social media, but I can't outsource bookkeeping yet. So I still have to do that, so I mean, yeah, I'm open to outsourcing. I'm just not at a point financially where I can do that yet. My business is still very new. I'm kind of ramping up. It's there's a lot to consider. But in terms of the most rewarding, the flexibility, the fact that if I have my youngest son lives here in Phoenix and his wife. So if he ever needed me, like I could just drop what I was doing and go help with whatever it is they need. I don't have a boss that I have to ask permission to leave work early.
Yeah.
I'm not around the toxicity of working with a lot of people that have toxic mindsets.
Yeah. Oh man, I could probably talk an hour about that topic.
Right? I mean, we've all been there.
A couple jobs in the past where I've left because it was a toxic environment.
It was toxic, yeah. Yep. I mean, that showroom that I worked in for a year, it became toxic really quick, and why I stayed for so long is beyond me. I mean, I created that monster. Like I did it to myself. Because for many months prior to me leaving, my husband's like, you really need to like consider not being there anymore. And I'm like, no, I'm sure I can still make it work. I can make it work. Nope. I went to KBIS in Las Vegas and I came back and I was like, I'm done.
Oh my gosh. Was that your first KBIS experience?
Yes.
It was? It was mine too. I was there too.
You were there? Yeah.
Yeah. But I was working for a construction company at the time. It was before COVID. And I'm not still with the construction company. I started my own business. But anyway, they paid for my way to go there. And I I definitely recommend, if you've never gone, to go to KBIS at least once in your life.
Oh yeah.
Fun. But
yes.
Erica, I wore heels the first day.
Oh my gosh, are you crazy?
Yeah, I am.
That's crazy. That is crazy.
Like laughter sound effect again.
Yep, I heard that. Yeah, no, I wore boots the first day, like regular boots, but I mean, my feet were killing me by the end of that first day.
Yeah, midway through, I actually walked to my hotel. It was not too far away. I took the shoes off and I walked barefoot part of the way. When I was in the building, I'm like, okay, shoes off. Yeah. I walked all the way back to my hotel room to change the sneakers. I'm like, I don't care what they look like. I'm wearing my most comfortable shoe. I'm
telling you. Yeah, but there's just so much to see. It was mind-blowing. Yeah. It was mind-blowing. I really thoroughly enjoyed the experience.
Do you have a favorite part? The one part that stood out to you?
I guess it was all my favorite.
All your
It was all my favorite. I mean, all the tile shops were there. Kohler was there with their huge display. Kohler. Oh my gosh, Kohler.
Yeah, it's like a designer's dream.
Yes.
Right? Oh my God. It's like Toys R Us, but like, no, more than Toys R Us.
It's more than Toys R Us.
Disney World. For a designer. I was on a hunt when I was there. I was looking for those ice cubes, those round ice cubes.
Oh,
I don't know which refrigerator does it. I think it might have been LG, but like there's a new refrigerator that came out last year that comes out with these round ice cubes. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about. I don't remember seeing that though. I did peruse all the appliances though. I was like, look at that refrigerator, and oh my gosh, look at that wine cooler. And
did you see Hayfella?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. Yeah. I
love your response to that, because I was on the hunt for Hayfella. I'm like, okay, priority list of all the booths. Hayfala.
Yeah.
Got to check out Hayfala. They have
Yeah.
this closet thing. It's a bar that's for shorter people that, you know, you press a button and it just like comes down. And then you can get your jacket or your coat or your blouse or whatever, and then just press a button and it goes right back up. I'm like, that is so cool.
All the neat stuff that they come out for cabinetry, you know, to put inside your cabinets. It's amazing. It's amazing. Yeah. Yeah. So that was a really good experience for me. But yeah, like I said, you know, I came back from KBIS. I told that owner, okay, I'm done. I'm done, you know. But I mean, yeah, like I said, the most rewarding part of being my own business person is that, you know, the flexibility, the ability to, you know, call the shots and work with the people I want to work with, not the ones that I'm forced to work with, you know, because, you know, when you work in a corporate environment, it doesn't matter, you know.
You kind of have to go by their decisions. You can't make your own.
No.
It's good to be able to make your own decisions.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, you know, you're creating something that didn't exist before.
Correct.
With you being your own boss and making your own decisions and running a business the way you want to run it.
Yeah.
And, maybe bringing in new technology that maybe a different business hasn't brought in yet, or maybe it's offering a unique service that other, you know, you're in charge. You get to call the shots. You get to make that creative business that did not exist before. And that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. And there's more to it than that. For me was, you know, based on my values. Like, I want to work with people that share my same values, you know. For too long, you know, working in the corporate environment for 12 years, I had to work with people that could care less that, you know, you're working, that you're burning brain cells, or that you're, you know, pouring blood, sweat, and tears into their project. You know, one little thing goes wrong and it's like the end of the world. You know what I mean? And they just don't care. They walk all over you. They don't, you know, they practically spit in your face. You know what I mean? I mean, that's the kind of environment that I, you know, that's the kind of thing that I experienced in those 12 years in retail. People don't care, you know. They want what they want and they want it right then and there. You know, it doesn't matter what you have to go through to get it done or what the process is or whatever, you know. I just wanted to be able to work with people that shared my values.
Yeah, and it sounds like you were destined to do so much more than just work where you worked before.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. You get to a point, you know, when you're like questioning, is this all there is? There's got to be more, because I felt like there was more that I could have been doing, but I couldn't put my finger on it, you know? So
well, I'm glad that you did start your own business. And I'm glad that, you know, you're able to help others in your own unique way. And it's really bittersweet. So let's talk a little bit more about you on like a personal side. Like, what are your hobbies and what can you be found doing outside of work?
Well, I love to go camping.
Okay.
I love going camping. For me to be able to unplug completely.
Yeah.
And go somewhere where it's super quiet, you know, and even if it's like out in the middle of nowhere and you're like, you know, it's like there's no bathrooms, there's no showers, you know what I mean? Like, you have to like figure out how to get it done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That for me is fun. I love doing that. But also I enjoy spending time with my family, you know. Like I said,
That's
my youngest son.
Way to do that too.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Get away from your devices for a little bit and just spend quality time with each other. That's so important.
My boys grew up going camping, you know, so we've been a camping family from the very beginning. And then they grew up and they went into Boy Scouts and they went camping. So, I mean, we're a camping family. But, you know, spending time with my family, my son lives here in Phoenix, so we spend every Sunday together. You know, they come over, they do their laundry, and, you know, we have dinner together and we talk about what, you know, our week and, you know, work things. And, you know, it's my idea of what a Sunday family get together should be like, you know. that's always what I had dreamed about. Like I want my kids to come over on a Sunday and have dinner, and we can talk about, what happened during the week, and, just share stories and things like that. And that's exactly what I'm getting.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah.
And this next question is very off the topic.
Okay.
I actually did a little like Google searching, like, what's an interesting question that's like totally not related. So if
Okay.
you were an ice cream flavor, what would you be and why? I'll go first.
Okay.
I would say I would be I would say Moose Tracks. I think it's because it's always been my favorite growing up.
Okay.
And I love chocolate and like all the stuff that's in Moose Tracks. And I'm
Is
not just like plain.
is
I
Moose
can't just
Tracks
be plain chocolate. You gotta have a little bit of oomph in there.
is Moose Tracks
Caramel
the
and
one that has the
butter.
mini marshmallows, or is that the Rocky Road?
That's Rocky Road.
That's Rocky Road. Okay. Um, Moose Tracks. That's interesting. So my favorite ice cream is pistachio. I
Oh,
love pistachio
really?
ice cream. Yeah, I love pistachio ice cream.
Wow.
But if I had to be a flavor, I would think rainbow sherbet.
Rainbow sherbet? Okay.
Yes, because there's so many different facets to my personality.
I kind of got like a very fun,
Yeah.
brilliant, colorful vibe just getting to know you already.
Yeah,
I'd
there's
say that's good
different,
one.
yeah, there's different facets to my personality. I'm very, like, I can be super social, but then I also want to just have my own space.
Mhm.
But I like including people, like I've always been, when I worked in the retail environment, like there were always these people that were always kind of off on their own, kind of on the outskirts that weren't included. I like to include everybody. Like I'm equal opportunity. Like I don't care who you are, what you look like, how old you are. I want you to be part of the group, part of the team, part of the conversation, part of, what we're all doing, that kind of a thing. Because I don't ever like people to feel left out, you
That's
know?
beautiful. That's a great trait to have. And some people don't exemplify that trait. So that's very beautiful.
I do. I mean, I have a heart for people. I don't like when people feel excluded or left out, because growing up, as kids, some of us were kind of awkward, I was kind of awkward. There were many times when I was left out of things, not included. Even though I was super social, I don't think I fit into a lot of the regular molds, like I was not the popular girl, in high school. I didn't date the quarterback of the football team,
Yeah.
I didn't fit the mold. I was in choir, I played basketball, I
Oh,
was in the
wow.
honor society, so I didn't really fit one mold. So for me, a lot of times I felt like I didn't really belong anywhere, but I had friends in many different groups. So as an adult, I just feel like I want to include everybody. I don't want anybody to feel left out.
That is such a beautiful story, and you have a very beautiful history.
Oh,
Thanks
thank
so
you.
much for sharing that.
Yeah,
What makes you different makes you beautiful. I don't, it doesn't matter who you are. And what makes you different is, you don't want to be like everybody else.
right.
Why would you want to be like everybody else?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and then I think that's why that I struggle so much with social media because, especially like right now, like just the divide that we have in our country right now, that's excluding a lot of
That's a big
people,
problem. That could be a
you
whole
know?
nother episode.
I know, but that like I feel it deeply, the
Yeah.
divide, the split, like there are groups of people that are being left out.
Yeah.
And for me, that's just it hurts me. Like it hurts me because I'm empathetic. Like I don't like people to feel left out, which leads to probably one of your questions, which is the PRO Act. What is the PRO Act?
Yeah, that was going to be definitely one of my questions.
Yeah,
Um, let's just go over like one or two before we get into like
sure.
more like heated
Politics.
topics. Let's leave
Okay.
that for the end.
Yeah.
Let's see. I guess, do you have a memorable project you've worked on? We're getting back to
Yes.
like kitchen designing a little bit.
Yeah.
One project that stands out to you that you'd like to talk about?
Yes. So when I worked at the big box, before I left California to move here to Arizona, there was an assistant district attorney to the city of San Diego. She and her husband had purchased a home there in San Diego. They were moving from like I think it was Murrieta or Temecula area. Anyway, they were remodeling the entire house. Like the whole house got gutted, and they were piecing these projects together. And for her, in her mind, it wasn't coming together. It wasn't cohesive. So that's where they brought me in, and it all worked out. Like I would make suggestions and she'd be like, whatever you think is best. And, I just wanted to look nice. And she gave me a lot of free reign to kind of help her pick, like the different materials for her master bathroom and what it would look like and that kind of a thing. But beyond that, beside the fact that they were a great couple, he was a high-powered lawyer for like this agricultural company, and she's this high-powered attorney, and that whole thing. And they were their personalities were so down to earth. They were such a great couple to work with. But beyond that, what I really loved about it is the fact that he was remodeling this house for her because she had just beat cancer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like, those are the kind of people that I want to help. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those are the kind of people that know that it's not the end of the world. It's not life or death if a cabinet comes in damaged, or that we made a mistake and didn't order the correct size microwave, or you know what I mean? Like, it's
A
not
little
the
bit
end of
more
the
laid
world.
back and not as
Yeah,
high stress to be around.
because they know what life or death is. You know what I mean? Like, it's a totally different perspective.
Mhm.
But they were just a great couple to work with all around. He and I would joke about, he had this room off the first floor that was kind of like a guest bedroom, but
Mhm.
in the guest bedroom there was, those bookshelves that hide a room behind it.
Yeah, those
He
are the
had one of
coolest.
those. Yeah. So
Wow.
he was walking me through the house and he was like, "Yeah, let me show you something." So he took me into this room and he opens this bookshelf, and we walk through and it's his workout room. I'm like, this is totally cool. You're like Bruce Wayne. You could be Batman.
That's awesome.
But yeah, it was
Wow.
so cool. Like, they
Did
were
he
just,
did he want it like redesigned too, or was it
no,
just
he
like
like
worked
already,
around the area?
yeah, he
Okay.
already knew what, like all the flooring that we spec'd out, they put throughout that first floor. So it was all going into his workout room and the whole thing. But like, it was totally cool. That project was totally cool.
Can you tell me a little bit more about it? Like how it turned out? Like, did they get a kitchen design too?
Oh yeah, they got kitchen design. There was a powder bathroom downstairs, the master bathroom upstairs. I helped them spec out the flooring that they were going to put in the entire first floor.
Wow.
I helped them select the finishes and the cabinet styles for the kitchen and the powder room. I helped spec out the tile that went into their master bathroom, like shower walls, tub floor, the whole nine. Um, they were going to do the closet, like closet organization,
Yeah.
but they decided they were going to do that later. I helped them select the carpet that was going to go in the bedrooms. I mean, it was like this big project. Unfortunately, I left California before, I saw it completed. And Lowe's is not good about taking pictures. So I didn't get any finished pictures of the project, but from what I
Oh,
was hearing from the office is that it turned out amazing.
I'm sure it did.
So, and they were super happy. There were some hiccups there at the end, like with all projects, but I mean, in the end, I think they both ended up enjoying it very much.
That's good. And that's the most important is when the client is happy in the end.
Yeah.
You know,
Hmm.
like you could have the most spectacular house design, But if
Yeah.
your client isn't happy, was it worth it?
Right.
You know?
Mhm.
So it's good you make your clients happy.
Yeah.
One more question.
Sure.
We covered that one, but do you have like a favorite brand of appliances or maybe a new appliance that's out right now that just kind of like, wow, I want that appliance?
So before I got into kitchen and bath remodeling, my favorite appliance was KitchenAid. I loved
Really?
KitchenAid appliances.
Okay.
Yes. And then when I got into kitchen and bath remodeling, my focus switched over to
Okay.
Bosch appliances. So
Kind of
those are my
more
favorite.
technical, right? High tech.
They are a little bit more high tech. They're a workhorse. They have really good reviews. They don't have nearly because they're German engineered. They don't nearly have the issues of the appliances that are, say, some of the components are, say, made in China.
Mhm.
So, like a lot of the big names, LG, Samsung, GE even, a
Oh,
lot of their
GE? Oh
components,
no.
yeah, a lot of their components now come from China. So, it's you get what, it is what it is. So,
There's different
for
price points though. Like
yeah,
I know GE was, is my personal favorite. Just because every GE appliance that I've had has, I'm in a rental right now. So, and we have GE and they're still working pretty fine.
yeah,
And the places I've been to before this place was GE. So I almost feel like GE is like a very good, like,
a good line of appliances, a steady,
yeah,
like sturdy workhorse.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Um, but like
But
I
it's still
had a
like
Samsung
awesome Bosch.
refrigerator, didn't last very long. My Samsung refrigerator didn't last very long.
Okay.
My expensive KitchenAid stove didn't last very long. Um, but like my sister has had the higher end Bosch dishwasher, lasted a long time. She's had it, she moved it to her new house in Tucson from her house in Washington. Like she was not going to leave it in her house in Washington. So she moved it to her house in Tucson. You know what I mean?
I mean, I would too. It's a
Like
Bosch
it's
dishwasher.
it's a Bosch dishwasher. Yeah.
I would bring that with too.
Like, sucker's coming with me. So
I've
yeah.
just started learning about Bosch. I was gonna talk a little bit about Bosch in the next episode.
Hmm.
We're looking at some Bosch appliances, just like
Yeah.
reviewing them, just seeing, based on their price versus the things they offer and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And Bosch is kind of pricey.
It is, but it's a good product.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I put Bosch in one of the kitchen designs, the virtual kitchen design I'm working on
Yeah.
right now. I'm like, oh, Bosch is cool. I'm gonna put Bosch in. So,
Yeah.
so your personal favorite is KitchenAid, and it
It
always
used to
has
be
been.
KitchenAid.
It
It
used to
used to
be.
be. Yeah.
Oh,
Now I'm gearing more towards leaning more towards Bosch.
okay,
So in my new house, when we go to remodel the kitchen, all those appliances are being replaced with Bosch.
okay. Well, you're gonna have a great kitchen.
Yeah.
Bosch is great.
Yes.
From what I've learned about it so far, I have I have some more learning to do. So,
Yeah.
um, okay, another question. We covered that one, but I guess we could start talking about a little bit about politics. I noticed that you were featured in an interview, and I'm like, whoa, what is this about?
Well, that's actually my Facebook group with my two colleagues, the Triple Trouble. So essentially what we did with that, we created a Facebook group where we could just kind of bring on people to interview on a monthly basis.
Hmm.
Whoever wants to come on, And initially we started it to kind of talk about the journey of entrepreneurship, because everybody's journey is different. Everybody experiences different things, and because nobody really is talking about the entrepreneur journey, everybody just makes it look like it's this,
Glamorous thing.
glamorous, 10x monthly in 3 months. Yeah, no, that's not how it happens. Um, right? The
Magic.
magical. So anyway, we brought on this particular gentleman because I really wanted to talk about this. So the PRO Act, it's the Protect the Right to Organize Act. It cleared the Senate, so they all approved it. So what this PRO Act is without getting too much into the weeds, it's the unions getting into the pockets of government people to try to boost union numbers, because in the past 20, 30 years or so, union numbers have dwindled down. I mean, in the 80s, unions were super strong, but the numbers started dwindling. And so now they're like, well, we need our numbers to be back up. Well, what happens with the PRO Act is essentially there's the ABC test, which the ABC test, and I don't know, when you started your business, if you looked at the IRS rules for what is considered a independent contractor, there's like this list of 21 things. If you cover these 21 things and you can check every box, then you're considered an independent contractor. Okay.
I am not.
Well, in essence, even though you're your own business person, you know, through MBD, you're your own business person. You have an LLC, correct?
Yeah.
But if you're providing B2B services to, say, like your interior designers, you are technically doing work that they should be hiring on as a W-2 employee.
Oh.
That's what makes you an independent contractor.
Oh, okay.
So this is how it's going to affect all of us. And this is not what they're talking about. They're not putting this into actual words that people will understand. So what happened was, in California, they passed what they called AB5. Okay. AB5 essentially took independent contractors using the ABC test to determine if employers were actually categorizing people as independent contractors that should have been W-2 employees or not. Okay. So the three rungs of the ABC test, the one that would definitely affect us is the letter B, where the entity doing the work does the same type of work that the business does. So like me designing kitchens for my remodeler, okay, technically under AB5 in California, I should be a W-2 employee for that remodeler.
That sounds like a messy situation.
It is. The whole trucking industry in California right now is in a sham, or in chaos, because a lot of the truckers, your truckers, the ones that provide you know, logistics across the country, a lot of those truckers are owners of their own truck. So they are under contract with a company to ship their goods from point A to point B. Well, they can't work in California because under California rules, that company should have hired that trucker as a W-2 employee. So even though that trucker is a business all by himself. There were exemptions in California, only these professions have an exemption. They can be classified as independent contractors. Truckers were not. So there are a lot of truckers in California that can't work.
I know in Wisconsin, where I am, there's a shortage of truckers right now, but I don't know if that affects Wisconsin.
There's a lot of states that are right to work states. So like Arizona is a right to work state. You can be classified as an independent contractor, right? So in California, what happened was, like, people like court stenographers, tutors. Okay, so like a school hires tutors, outside tutors, to come in and tutor kids, right, in school. Well, those tutors are business people all unto themselves. Well, California came back and said, because they are doing the same work that a school is doing, you should have hired them on as W-2 employees. Fines were sent out. Yeah.
Fines to the person providing the service,
to the quote unquote employer.
Oh, wow.
The employer. So now What unions want to do is take that AB5, that ABC test, and make it national. Under the guise of, well, we want all workers to have the ability to unionize. But I'm not a worker, I'm a business person. I don't want to unionize.
So, I mean,
I can already set my own rates. And if the person doesn't want to pay my rates, I don't have to work with him.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
They don't
like
control.
A very messy situation.
It's a very messy situation. So right now it's before the House. There were like 5 lawmakers that didn't sign on to support putting it before the House floor. So parts of the PRO Act, I want to say, made it into the infrastructure bill, but nobody really knows what parts made it into the infrastructure bill that just passed. The Department of Labor was talking about, if it didn't get passed in the PRO Act, that they would have to now go a back way to start investigating businesses that did work with independent contractors and perform audits to see if the person that was contracted with them is indeed an independent contractor or should have been classified as a W-2 employee. So when all this is said and done, if it passes, when all this is said and done, what is going to happen is these businesses that outsource bookkeeping, that outsource, like with us, kitchen design, that outsource blog writing, that outsource social media marketing.
That's like a huge attack with, the pandemic we've been in, where so many people have found
exactly.
Like
they are trying
of businesses that have like flourished.
Yes, exactly. It kills entrepreneurship. It kills small business. But it's all under the guise of, well, we want all workers to have the same benefits as W-2 employees. If that's what we wanted, we would go back to the corporate setting. I don't want that. I don't need that.
Don't we pay enough taxes as it is as a business owner?
Well, okay, so that's the other thing. This is all a guise for more money, because the federal government can't live on a budget the way the rest of us little people work on budgets. We run our households on a budget. Federal government can't work. They can't run the government on a budget because, oh, well, we can't count on the steady stream of taxes that we get from W-2 employees, because they're small businesses. They pay their taxes quarterly, and we can never say how much taxes are coming in to the government from small business. Whereas when you're a W-2 employee, exactly. So as a W-2 employee, you get paid, say, $18 an hour, right? The government already knows how much in taxes you're going to pay.
Yep.
And that comes in every 2 weeks.
So they can't control us.
They can't control. Exactly. It's all about control.
Oh my God.
And your naysayers are like, it's not going to affect us. It's not going to affect us. How is it not going to affect us?
I think the only people that may say that are people that haven't tried to own their own business. I mean, that's just a guess, but.
Yes, that's exactly who those people are.
Wow. Well, I have some more research to do on this. This is very interesting.
Yes.
It sounds like it's a big mess that would not help business owners at all.
No, there is a Facebook group that I belong to that really opened my eyes to this issue. It is called...
We'll write it down.
It is called the Fight for Freelancers USA. This is a group, it was started by a group of journalists that are their own, they are their own business owners, their own business entities that are, pitching articles to the different, publications out there. And, because this has also affected the writers, like the journalists, so they started this Facebook group, but I mean, it encompasses truckers, now virtual assistants. I'm in the group, as a kitchen designer, it's like, yeah. So I would highly recommend anybody listening to the podcast to at least join a group and find out for themselves how this PRO Act is going to affect
Okay,
our
thanks for
businesses.
definitely explaining it and going
Mm-hmm.
over it. And
Yeah. I mean, it's
so
a whole, like, you know, and people are like, it's not going to affect us. Government doesn't work that way. No, government works that way. You give government an inch and they take a mile.
okay, I have something to say on this topic. So
Sure.
it's important, you remember you said you want to accept everybody. I'm kind of
Yeah.
the same way. You don't want to fight with your family or friends on politics. On the other hand, it's important, there's one side of the coin where I think some people get where they're like, I'm not going to get into politics at all. Like,
Right.
I'm not going to even learn about it. I'm not going to talk
Mm-hmm.
about it. I'm going to become like immune to it.
Right.
You're never immune to politics.
No.
I think it's important to get into politics, but also try to find that balance of like,
Yeah.
Do your research and get your opinions and try to make an impact, a positive one, hopefully, locally and, now nationally, a lot of things are happening in a more bigger scale
Yeah.
nationally. It's important to get to know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really glad that you were able to talk about what the PRO Act is and like what we can do to try to fight against it, because it's not good. Doesn't
It's not
sound
going to
good.
go away. It's not going to go away magically. It's something that we all as small business owners need to be aware of, especially those of us that we're encouraging other businesses to outsource to us. And then at the same time, we are outsourcing to other people. So, I mean, we're creating jobs. We're a whole symbiotic organism here. We're providing jobs. Other people are providing jobs to us. It's not like we're just siphoning off of somebody and not producing anything.
Mm-hmm.
I have a VA. I have my social media person is a VA.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if I were to outsource bookkeeping, by all intents and purposes, according to the government, I should have a W-2 employee just doing bookkeeping. That's not how that works. I'm just starting out. I can't afford a W-2 employee, but
Yeah.
I also can't afford to do all the work myself. Otherwise, I would never grow.
Yeah. And here's a bigger picture, a comment I'd like to say before we wrap up. Is like, okay, in the bigger picture, what does it seem like the US government they're about? They're not about technology and like to take Apple for instance, like almost everybody has an Apple phone. That
Mm-hmm.
technology didn't exist before.
Right.
That somebody had to start that business and grow it and
Mm-hmm.
invest in it. Other people had to invest in it.
Mm-hmm.
Time, money, creativity.
Yeah.
What you have, Erica, is a creative business that did not exist before. And that, it sounds like it's being taken, they want to take it away.
Yeah.
And that's not good. And
No.
like in the bigger scheme of things, it's important if we want new developments to flourish, new technology, new creative
Innovations. Yeah.
innovations. Yeah, exactly. If we
Mm-hmm.
want that to happen, we gotta help small business owners. We gotta stop the government from trying to give these extra hurdles and stomp on us.
Yes. And that's exactly what it is. It's they're putting up hurdles, they're making us jump through hoops, they're, with everything. I mean, starting a business, the licensing, the,
Mhm.
everything. It's a hurdle. And I get there are some bad apples out there, that should be classifying people as W-2 employees, those ones that control everything from those people. I'm not one of those. You work within my business hours. You don't tell me how to do my job. I don't tell you how to do yours. You know, um, it's a symbiotic relationship. It's a good relationship. If I feel like the person that signed my contract is now overstepping their bounds, I end the contract. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody has free will and responsibility. We don't need to be governed by the government. It's not a nanny state.
Yeah.
It's not. I don't need a
They want a
nanny.
bigger government. Having a
Yeah.
bigger government is going to lead to more of these things.
Exactly. I'm 47 years old. I've lived life. I don't need a nanny.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think you
So,
do.
so
You're a mother too.
yeah,
So you don't need somebody to tell you what to do.
no.
All right. So, I mean, I'm really glad that we were able to talk about that. I'm a huge supporter in positive change and informing people. And I'm glad that we were able to talk about your business. And
Yes.
my last question, where can people find you, Erica? Where can people support you and
Um,
work with you and get your
sure.
wonderful, services from?
Well, for now, I hesitate to send people to my website because again, it's under construction currently. But if you just want to kind of read and peruse through, it's www.ericagrandconsulting.com.
Okay.
Or I have a Facebook, my business page, Erica Grand Consulting. I'm also on Instagram, and I have a LinkedIn page.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
That's great. I will also drop a link below so that you can find her as well. Yeah, that pretty much wraps this whole thing up. So thanks for listening.
Thank you for having me, Becky.
Yeah, just stay on the air. I'm just gonna stop the recording, okay?